Hello and welcome to the Dreaming and Doing podcast with me, Nikki Raby. I'm an actor, coach, writer, speaker, podcaster and a mum. And in my coaching work, I work with creatives, personal brands, freelancers and small businesses. In my podcast, I talk about success, but not in a traditional sense. I have conversations with those who have built a business from something they love or who have made a pivot in their career. Also those who have built a brand or a job that maybe didn't exist when they were at school, and they found a way to monetize their skills, talents and expertise. I've spoken to loads of incredible people, coaches, designers, journalists, app creators, magazine editors, bloggers, content creators, authors, and all-round movers and shakers. I ask the questions that you want to know the answer to. So how they started, about money, saying no, saying yes, pitching, presenting, putting yourself out there even though it terrifies you, standing out in a busy online world, growing, scaling and making your work for you and your circumstances. The show notes are always at nikkiraby.com/podcast, and the conversation continues across social media, often on Instagram, my favourite platform, at Nikki Raby. Thanks so much for listening. It's great to have you with us. In today's episode, I'm talking to Yasmin Stevens, who is a mother of four, a home educator, and a nutritional therapist. Life is busy, I feel. I met Yasmin a few years ago when I did a speaking event that she came along to, and ever since I've really enjoyed watching her on Instagram and the things that she shares about her family and her approaches to life. If you're after a great smoothie recipe, there'll be loads of inspiration over there. I feel that sometimes my life can feel really busy and really full, and I love her approach of slowing down and reading and the simple pleasures in life. I think you'll really love this episode. If you want to come and join in with the conversation, please come over to Instagram at Nikki Raby. As always, the show notes where Yasmin lists all the books that she's loving are at nikkiraby.com/podcast. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one over the summer, I would love to find out more about how I can help you and your business move forward. How exciting! Great things ahead. I hope you love this episode. Here it is. Hi Yasmin, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Nikki, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. I can't wait to chat to you. So let's start with you. What do you do? Tell me about life and all your many facets of it.
Oh, well, my main thing is I am a home educating mum, and I have four amazing children who vary from ages 12. In fact, I may as well just tell you all the ages. It's like 12, 7, 6 and 3. I'm also a nutritional therapist, and I do this by doing it online at night and weekends after the children are in bed or away. And being a living healthy family health coach. And I also make all natural home and body products as well. So just a few odd things that I do.
Life is quiet. I bet you just sit around and
I know, I just sit here twiddling my thumbs most nights.
Going, I just can't think of anything to do. Yeah, absolutely. So oh my goodness, there's so many areas to delve into. So firstly, how do you balance work? I hate this word balance, but I guess it's different because your kids are, for the most part, always there. What does a day in the life of you working and parenting look like?
Oh gosh, well, we start off the morning, and to be honest, it starts off by me getting woken by the children.
Yes.
Because I tried that whole getting up before them to get me time, and it just didn't work. I ended up really moody and just unfocused and tired. So yeah, now I get woken by my children, and then we spend some quietish time where we give thanks for what we have, appreciate all the all the things we have, big and little in our life. Then we'll have a conversation as a family about what we wish to bring to the day. And And then from there, we kind of separate off, go gather our bits and pieces and stuff, and then we'll come downstairs. And while everyone's getting their stuff, I usually write out a list of things which I wish to achieve for the day, with like the priority, I must get this done with a star, marked with a star. Then we just get on with whatever activities we had. It could be a case of we've got a slow, easy morning where I'm doing like house chores and they're doing English or maths or a science experiment or cooking or whatever it is we're doing in the home. And then most of the time we'll head out around lunchtime or just after lunch, just to get that fresh air boost. Nice. You know, when you've been in the house for a bit too long, you get to go a bit stir crazy.
Yeah, and they're all looking at you like, I feel a bit like I need to move and run and all of that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Or we'll head out to, like, they all go to different activities as well. We've got things like gymnastics, football. We've got other random things like we meet up friends. It might be in an allotment. It might be in a park. It might be in a play centre. So whatever is scheduled for the day, we go with that. And then at the moment, I'd like to say then bedtime happens, but bedtime's a bit of a myth at the moment. When it works, what we do is like wind down time from about, say, 5:30, then by 7:30, 8:00, they're all in bed. And that's when my second wind comes and I then have a quick clean up of the house. And then I'll sit down and get on with whatever work tasks I've got for the day. So it could be sending a client an action plan or a food planner, or just responding to general questions, speaking to a client, making up some creams, like to fulfill orders and stuff.
So the day is long.
The day is very long. Yes.
Wow.
It is.
And where did you always know that if you had kids that you would homeschool and that you would have, because what's your Instagram, Natural Lifestyles? I don't want to misquote it. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't even know homeschooling existed until my firstborn was in school, and I can't even remember how it came about, actually. I know I went to a really amazing fair. It was actually the Black Homeschooling Fair, and it showed how you can homeschool your children, how you can educate them in your own way, how there's a massive community, how even if you've got a huge family or a tiny family, it's still possible. And my son was having trouble in school at the time, and it just seemed like the right thing to do. The more and more I started learning about homeschooling, or home educating, home learning, however you want to call it, it just seemed to fit with me very well. Like, you get to teach your children skills about life, the things they need. To me, what was being taught in school, what didn't make any logical sense. It was just teaching them to lose their imagination, to be a robot.
Sit down, be quiet.
Exactly. And I mean, every morning we had the same stress and shouting and come on, get ready, we don't want to be late, and all this pressure, and I just hated it, really. And as soon as I figured out how I could do it, then I just kind of leaped actually into it. It just had to do it. I had to do it. And
but that's so good as a parent that you saw that and you kind of went with it and you took action, because I think, certainly I'm sure like our generation, that there wasn't necessarily those options. And I know a lot of people who perhaps school wasn't for them or that way of learning. And, I've spoken about it on the podcast before, but it wasn't until about 14, 15 that I actually understood science, because I had a really great teacher, and I just felt like I'd been hanging around up until that point. Yeah.
It's amazing, like, you realise the limitations that can be put on. But then at the same time, I don't want to say that homeschooling is for everyone, and I completely respect parents who can make the conscious choice to say, actually, they're better in school, or they actually really enjoy school. Like, for me, my choice was made because my child wasn't enjoying school, and I could create a lifestyle which could match and support him. And it's not easy. It's far, far, far from easy, but it's much more worth it to be able to actually see what's right for my child, or children even, see what's right for my children and support them in that way.
That's brilliant. When you, so how did I guess the health stuff come into play? When did you start your business? Have you always been healthy? Has it always been part of your life?
Well, I haven't always been healthy. I actually had absolutely no clue of the connection between food, mindset and health and anything like that until probably just before I got pregnant with my first son, when I started to look into ingredients and things like that. But then when I got pregnant with my son, it was I need to know, I need to learn more. And then actually the funny thing is I didn't intentionally go into this whole healthy living lifestyle by studying that first. What happened was my son was born, and then so I wanted to learn a little bit about food, how to keep him healthy through that, but primarily I wanted to learn about history, because I wanted to learn how to teach. I wanted to learn about my history, and I wanted to show my child what the true history was. And it was when I started going into researching this and seeing that history I learnt in school was actually not history at all, and that I delved deeper, and things I thought were to be true weren't. But it just basically made me question everything. And through that path, I then started to learn about the medical institutions, and that they actually used to teach these alternative therapies as the primary way of helping people get better, and that was the primary medicine. So they'd have things like aromatherapies, acupuncture, all of that stuff, and it was fascinating to me. And then I found out that actually what happened was there was a massive investment made into the medical universities, and I can't even remember around what time, to be honest. You have to look that one up. But the requirement of them getting this funding was that they was going to push forwards the pharmaceutical style medication and things like that. And that for me was a huge triggering point to looking into health in an even deeper way. And it's something that really, really intrigued me. And from there, I just went off, and to be honest, it's taken years and years and years of studying so many different kind of lifestyles. And I think that's how I got to the name and the idea natural lifestyles, was that it's not one way for everyone. There's so many different ways where people can reach the best health for themselves, and it's about just bringing forth. For me, the reason I created natural lifestyles, actually it came about after a pretty dramatic event, which happened on New Year's Eve in 2005. I'd been lost for a couple of years. I've been pretty down and in not a great place. I had a business previously which I completely messed up. I failed. I didn't run it very well. I ended up with loads of debts and not doing it to my best. And that failure put me into quite a horrible, embarrassed, guilty, withdrawn state. And then through that, me and my children's dad was having problems, and the end result was basically without making this a 20-hour long podcast. I had a New Year's Eve party and it didn't go to plan at all, and it actually ended up in me and my children's dad breaking up, which was quite dramatic. And well, yeah, it was what it was, but that was the beginning of an awakening within me, which reminded me I needed to get myself back into the strength and power that I knew I was capable of, and rediscover myself, and which helped me realize my true passion, which is helping people and sharing with those who want to learn what I know I can teach. I don't want to put my information onto everyone, because that's not what I'm about. That I just would like to help people who would like to try a different way, try the ways which I've learned, and if it's not for them, then it's not for them. If it is, then great. And from that just lit the determination to keep going and keep growing. And then create natural lifestyles.
But that's the thing about your Instagram that I absolutely love, is that it is really doable. And I think sometimes there's such pressure as parents or as women, that especially when we're busy as well, to be doing all of the things. So to be looking perfect in the yoga gear, or to be drinking it's quite I guess it's very Instagram friendly, isn't it? That sometimes we see these pictures of people journaling, for example, and I think, God, when I journal, like, my desk does not look like that, and I am not smelling the peonies, or like, it's just not for me. And I know this word is thrown around a lot, but it's very authentic in a way that actually I'm not sharing that in the moment, because probably people will be like, oh my goodness, her handwriting is awful and that's not on brand. But when I was watching your Insta stories, like, even the fact that you make loads of juices and smoothies for your kids, like, we had a smoothie machine and then it broke, and then I was like, gosh, no, I need to get back into this. I need to get another one, and I need to do this, because it's quite easy in our busy lives to sort of go, oh my goodness, has he actually had a vegetable? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't happen in your house, but you have to be really aware of it, because otherwise time just sweeps things up.
Yeah, it's true. And it's, I mean, the whole thing through this journey, what I've learned is keep it simple. And actually, funny enough, that's one of the things which my ex-partner used to say to me all the time, and I'd never get it. But now I actually get it fully, and I can apply it to natural lifestyles as well, and to your life, to anyone's life. Just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be, like, healthy doesn't have to mean you go out and buy, like, maca powder and spirulina and wheatgrass and mix it up and have to be making this protein thing and whatnot. It can just be a platter of fruit. It can just be like a couple of those fruits and vegetables in your fridge about to go off, chucked into the blender to make a smoothie. Or it's simple. It's simple. And especially when you have children, you don't need complication. You really don't.
No. And I love always seeing, like, your kids actually being in the kitchen with you and getting involved. And, sometimes that's the last thing. Oscar's suddenly got a thing about washing up at the moment, and he wants to drag his stool up. And, part of me is just going, oh my goodness, I just want to get the dishes done, because we've got that thing, we've got to get out the door and all the rest of it. Yeah. But I really try and stop and be in the moment, because ultimately as well, I don't want to raise a man who at age 23 won't be able to do some washing up, or doesn't think that that's his place to muck in. Like, I'm from a big family as well, and it's one of those moments, like, if you come for dinner, we're all clearing up, just to let you know. Matt figured that out very quickly. You've not come for a holiday, like, we're all pitching in here.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That those moments as well, you, like, it's easy to try and brush past them, but it's those tiny moments that children remember. Like, they really do. And we're so quick to try and rush through life and get it all done, and we want everything. And it's this whole slowing process, and it's not easy either. It takes patience, and it really does challenge you. And I think, especially as a parent, you have to kind of, you enter this battle with your children of, like, no, I want it done this way. Right? And they're like, no, but I want it done this way. And sometimes you actually have to step back and check, do I want it done because I want it done?
Yeah.
Or can I just let go? Or do I want it done because I want to be the bigger person? I want to, like, put down my authority. And sometimes you have to be like, actually, I'm just trying to impart authority, and that's not going to help the situation. So yes, dishes might take an extra bit of time. My kitchen might be an extra mess, because the children, I love having my children in the kitchen. The consequence is that it's a complete time. But that's my issues, and that's where I try to be as conscious as I can in the parenting approach.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you set up, like, this new business of helping people with their health and their food? What did that picture look like?
Oh, that took a lot of learning. Once I had that realization, this is what I had to do. I was not an online person at at all. Like, you would not catch a picture of my children, let alone me, online. I was very anti social media. I didn't have a clue how to do websites. I didn't even know about Skype properly. I knew Skype existed, but I didn't know how to work it. I didn't know about like all the different things that I was going to need to use as resources and tools, really. So first of all, that was a great learning process. Then realizing, actually, if I want people to be able to see me and be able to trust me, then I need to open up myself, and that was a big step.
Yeah. How did you do that practically? Was it because I think sometimes people go, just put on heels and a lipstick and you'll be fine. It's like, but how? Which, you know, it doesn't always work that way.
No. Well, someone actually said to me something like, yeah, just put some makeup on and do this. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go out there, I've got to be real. Yes. I'm not that. I don't wear makeup. I might put on a little tiny bit of like mascara or something once in a while, but I've never been a makeup person, and that's my own personal choice. That's not like, that's just what it is. And
but also, if you were rocking up on Instagram Live at 7 a.m. to talk through your breakfast with a perfect blow dry, we would be just like, how is she doing this with her kids? And like, I see that sometimes where people go, I do this and I'm traveling here and my kids just come with me. And I'm like, taking kids on an aeroplane and then doing a full day of business is really stressful. And so I think you're so right that you always have to come back to that place where it feels like you.
Yeah, and I found actually that was the most comfortable. The biggest hurdle, I'd say, was actually pictures of myself, because I was really like self-conscious. I literally shy away from cameras as well. So I think the biggest hurdle was to be like, actually, let me learn how to take a half decent picture of myself without makeup and everything, so that I don't scare away everyone. And and when I get comfortable enough, be like, actually, like, oh, F it, I don't care. Whatever.
Oh my goodness. And once you get into that headspace, like, it's really liberating. And I definitely, like, I think we're from that generation, like, that, you know, we almost missed that moment of the computers at school. I mean, I think we had one lady who worked in there, and she'd sort of I think she was just there all the time, but would only appear like every Wednesday or something. I'm sure they kept her in a cupboard or something and they'd wheel her out. But like, you had to book a computer, and it didn't look like a computer like it does these days. But I think the great thing is that our generation remember before, but also we've thought, oh my goodness, that actually we've got a lot of work to do in terms of figuring this out, because otherwise we're going to be left behind.
Yeah, that's so true. And it is exactly that, because I had the same at school. I didn't really do computer lessons. I think what we got taught at school was how to log on or create an account. And maybe Word, like, that was the limit of computer technology class. And I can't remember what was you saying? That was
so you learn how to create this sort of online to make it work for your life. So what did you do? How did you start? How did you know where I don't know where to put your focus, and how did you get clients to get going?
I think at the beginning I came across at first it was just YouTube. Like, YouTube, I had so many ideas, and I just YouTubed, like, how could I make some of these ideas happen? And then through YouTube adverts, I saw this company called Six Figure Mentors, and there was something in there which they was teaching, and I absolutely loved it. The principle they was teaching is that just provide value. All you have to do is give out value. Don't expect money. Just, if you can set something up and you can come from a place of giving as opposed to trying to take. And that resonated with me deeply, because I was like, I want a business, but I know I need to grow this, and I'm still figuring it out. But I just want to give. I just want to give. So at the beginning, I just gave loads. And to be honest, it took me a long time to actually switch over to the point of saying, now is the time for me to put a price on what I offer. And actually, that was scary.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hear it from my clients all the time, like, what? Oh, no. And they get caught in the, what do I charge? How do I move forward? And one thing I always say is just start to charge, even if it's a small amount, but just start to feel that energy, because I'm totally in the same position as you that, you know, I always feel like if I'm on social media and I'm talking about stuff, there's no point me just waffling on. I would much rather be giving value and, you know, giving people a reason why they should watch, because or listen in terms of this podcast. But certainly it can be really hard to then put a number on what it is that you offer.
Yeah. Well, I think the first time I ever charged anyone anything, I was like, well, I could do it for £10. And you know, it was so ridiculously low, like for what I was offering, but I didn't value myself anyway. Like in that like I could have, to be honest, what I could have charged this woman was hundreds of pounds, but because she was my first person, I was like, I don't know, just pay me £10 and see if you like it, and then we'll go from there. And after that, I kind of had a conversation with myself and like, look, it's not feasible to charge that. You have to like look out there, see what people in your industry, in your niche are doing. See if you think you're any good at it, if you can up level it, or if you want to match it, or if you want to be the cheaper version or whatever. But just make sure that whatever price you set, you over deliver.
Yes. And I think that's the thing of sort of making sure you've got plenty of space sort of mentally, especially when you're serving people as well, to make sure that you can do what you say you're going to do.
Yes, yeah, really, really is. And I think one danger which I came across was there was a period of time when I took on too many free clients. And I let myself down and I let them down in the fact that I couldn't physically, emotionally, mentally deliver what I wanted to. And it was at that point I was like, I need to stop doing that. Now it's just I've got resources people can download for free. I've got there's loads of stuff you can get for free. And I had to put a stop to any more, because otherwise it literally is taking me away from helping people to the full potential and be able to actually pay my bills or do anything else on top of it. So, yeah.
And give, you know, especially, you mean you've got 4, but it's that thing of almost, if you're always giving things away, I'm always the one that suffers in the end, because I don't have that wiggle room for the me time. And when I don't have that, or if I'm, you know, not sleeping enough or always thinking about, always on effectively, then, you know, I'm not doing the best work that I can in the world either.
No, it's so true. Because you take from yourself, and there's a great saying, it's like you can't save the world until you've saved yourself.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. I was going to say, actually, how do you stay buoyant? Because, you know, you're the Pied Piper of sort of your house going, come on, guys, you know, all of that sort of, even getting kids to put their shoes on or to get stuff done, or all of that, you know, you do feel like you're being a bit of a, I don't know, you know, a coach, kind of go, come on, let's go, do this. And how do you keep yourself buoyant and patient and the best version of yourself?
I think, if I'm honest, the way I keep myself the best is by not expecting to be the best all the time and not being so hard on myself. When I do have a go at them and lose my temper or just cry for no reason or not have a reason, or things don't work out to plan, is instead of beating myself up about it, I just accept that actually I'm doing the best I can. I'm not gonna pull it off every time, but to just keep going and I genuinely absolutely love my life. Like, people don't understand that sometimes people give me that weird look, like when I say I really love my life, I love my kids, I love the intensity of our life, because it does seem a bit confusing, but it's what gives me the inspiration. It's what gives me energy, because we never actually, like, if we're doing stuff we love, we can summon up energy out of nowhere. We can do that, and we can always manifest energy. If you're eating right and you're thinking right, and you go through certain practices, then you can feel tired, but you can still have energy to do what you love.
Yeah, it's so true. And I feel like sometimes those little shifts of mindset have been really key for me. Like for me, hanging around church halls with other mums all complaining about how tired we are, it doesn't help me. And I think when I had my son, I got that new lease of life by, maybe it was kind of sheer big-headedness of going, oh my goodness, I've really got to keep this human being alive. And it was that instinct kind of kicking in. But I really have to manage my, not only my expectations for myself, but my surroundings and my environment, because if you get that negativity into your head, and again, I'm not saying that I'm just all singing and all dancing and annoyingly positive every day. I'm not by any means, but these things are easy to do and they're easy not to do. Very confusing. Have there been any books that you've read that have changed your life or changed the way you think about things?
Yes, loads. To be honest, my house, especially homeschooling, we have a ridiculous amount of books, but I'd say I actually wrote a list of my most influential books, those that really helped open my mind, teach me, and help me grow into probably who I am now. I'd say one of those books is a book called The Book of Children by Osho.
I will add all these to the show notes because everyone will be like, oh yes, I need to read this.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just go through them then and you can do the show note thingies. Okay, so then there's Earth Medicine by Kenneth Meadows. That's a great one for, it's very interesting because it tells you also about yourself and characteristics and things. And when you read it and you resonate with it, or when you don't, that's sometimes more interesting. Like, that's not me. And then you think, actually, could it be?
Yeah, or when your kid does an impression of you, or they do something that is so irritating, but you don't know why. And then you just know that it's a trigger point for you where you're like, oh, okay, that, because I find that, right, okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, that's so, oh, yeah, we've all got them. Like, why? No, just stop. Just stop. Okay, so more books. Egyptian Yoga, Posture of the Gods and Goddesses. By Muwata Ashby. I'll send you the spellings of these names as well.
Brilliant.
There's Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, which actually was an amazing book. A friend sent it to me which actually sounds so ironic given the amount of things that I do, but it's the way you pursue it and lifestyles and learning to say no to things which don't serve you and aren't in line with who you are.
Isn't it nice when we've got those friends who just know the exact thing that you need at that right time and you're like, I didn't even know that I needed that, but it's right there. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. I'm blessed actually with a very amazing, very small group of friends who are just family.
Yeah. But you will do that for them as well. Yeah. I think this is the thing we attract. I know lots of women have sort of said, God, I'm really lucky to have these things. And it is lucky but as well. But also, if you're a good person, it always comes back around.
Yes, very true. Like attracts like.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Okay, I've got some more books for you. I've got Your Best Year Yet by Ginny Ditzler. Yeah, really good. She Means Business by Cary Grant. Not Cary Grant. That's that one of. I always get their names confused.
Cary Green. Yeah, I've read that. It's really great. Yeah.
Then there's the Selected Writings and Speeches of Marcus Garvey, which is an amazingly inspirational and light your fire, get going, open your mind book. Fantastic, especially really good to read to children. Then I've got Decoded, which is the science and it's called Decoded: The Science Behind Why We Buy. So I do quite like. Oh yeah, I like a mixture of books, really, really varied. Then Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And then I've just got 3 more books. Like, that's it. Psychology of Revolution by Gustave Le Bon. And Conscious Eating by Gabriel Cousens. And Raw and Simple by Juditha Wignall. And it's a very broad categories of readings that I've given you there, but that covers like mind, body, history, revolution, like the whole.
And for me, that's how I sort of need to not just read about other coaches. Like, I get my inspiration when I'm out and about, or if I read about a restaurant owner, or I go to an art gallery or the theatre, or read a book, or there's so many different ways that we can immerse ourselves in learning. And that's a great thing about homeschooling as well, I guess, is that you don't have to just wait until the 4th term to go to the science museum. You can go if you want.
Yeah. And we can go every week. We don't have to go on, and that's the beauty. To be honest, if time and money and my energy allowed, they'd be doing 3 activities a day each. There's, especially being in London, there is a humongous and growing home educating community who are amazing. There's some real inspirational, organised, just fantastic people within the community who give their time, their resources to putting together or seeking out these amazing events and stuff like that. So
that's a really great takeaway as well, in the way that sometimes when we're trying to do something and we're in that moment of trying to figure it out, we can sometimes feel like we're the only one, or we're the only one who hasn't figured it out yet. And actually, for most parts, there is a community out there, and I think sometimes you have to, as well as figuring out, I don't know, your sales funnel, you have to take the time to figure out where those people are hanging out, because they are there.
Yeah, they are. They really are. And it's like with everything, it can appear that there's nothing until you just scratch the surface, and it's like a whole flood then begins to come through.
Yeah.
And there is a world underneath this, and
they're all waiting for me. Yay, I found my people.
Yeah, I feel so special now.
Yeah, exactly. A couple more questions. One thing I was going to say is, if you were going to make a really, my son a couple of months ago went through a proper beige phase of going to nursery, and then every time he came home, he was literally like, don't like it, don't like this, even though he'd been a great eater from being a little boy. I almost to the point where I was dining out on that and going, oh, that's why he doesn't sleep, because you can't have it all. And then he didn't eat properly and he didn't sleep. So I was going, oh my goodness, this is a nightmare. It wasn't really, but if you were going to make a really great power breakfast that would just set you and your kids up for the day, what would you make?
Ooh, a good power breakfast. Probably oats, an oats porridge, and a fruit salad of some sort on the side, or a fruit platter, because of the ease and the fillingness of it as well, and the fact that my children will love it. So the oats are really simple. You just chuck it in, put some of milk, whatever milk you choose. We have plant-based food milks, so it'll be almond milk or oats milk or any other nut milk. Then chuck in some seeds, so pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds, and then, I don't know, maybe some frozen fruit. That takes 5 minutes, and just while that's cooking, roughly chop, or get one of my children to roughly chop a load of fruits and plonk that down on the table, and they've got the energy and the nutrients and everything, and it's super easy.
Yeah, and they're sort of set up for a day. Like, I always find this with Oscar, like, if I don't nail that breakfast, or like a piece of toast is just not going to cut it, because by about 7:05 he's going, can I have a snack? Can I have this? And, you know, yeah, it's a good way of doing it. And my final question, which is one I ask most people, is where would you like to be in 5 years' time? In business, in life?
In 5 years' time, I'd like to be travelling the world with the family in tow, in search of somewhere which feels home. Because I'd like to travel and just find somewhere which feels that it fits our life. And we've got such a mixture of cultures within us that we could literally travel to about 10 different places and be like, oh, this could be home, this could be home. We recognise the people, we see familiar people and stuff like that. I'd also like to be building up a community of empowered, beautiful people, loving the abundance of life and being able to create and control the health within their families and have a network to just really reach out to and have help when they need to. So that's the business side. And that's just happy, healthy, maybe with a nice, beautiful, nice partner who has their own children and their own life as well, and we can live separate and together lives. That would be very
nice. Oh my God, can you imagine you'd end up with this blended family of about 19 children? You'd be like, sure, bring them all, that's fine.
I'd be like, yeah, come. It's all right. Once you've got 4, what's 24?
Exactly. I think this is especially with my family, it's like once everybody starts to bring partners and now there's kids in the vault, like we're a minimum of about 12 already. So dinners are always full around the table. But you know, that's what life's about. That's one of the best parts of my day, eating and having a chat. And Oscar started saying, you know, let's have a conversation. I'm like, yes, I've waited for this moment. I love it.
I love when they get to them points. You're like, oh, you're not a baby, but I love this. And you are my baby still. But yes, let's have a conversation.
And when they come back with all these sort of thoughts of their own, and you're kind of, because they've got a world outside of you where they're sussing everybody out and how they think about things, and it's fascinating. But if people want to come and find more about you or get some help with your services and, you know, looking to really work on their health, where should they go?
They can either come to my Instagram profile, and you can click the link in the bio to get the latest offer or deal or whatever it is. So my Instagram is natural_lifestyles, or you can come direct to my website, which is naturallifestyles.info. That's it. And from there you can get to everything, absolutely everything.
Oh, it's so good. And if you're in the market for some great smoothie making in the morning, check out her Insta stories because they're fantastic. So, thank you so much for being a brilliant guest on the podcast. And you just inspire me. You really do. And, you know, we're thinking about growing our family at some point. And when I watch you just flying, I'm sure you're like having meltdowns quietly also as well, or not having sleep. Maybe you're not, but you just inspire me. I think you're amazing. So thank you so much, and I know how precious your time is, so I feel really honoured that you've been a guest today.
That's okay. Thank you so much. I feel so honoured to be invited.
Oh, all right, lovely. See you soon. Bye.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear what you thought of the episode and share any takeaways with me. Come and find me across social media at Nikki Raby, or you can visit the podcast page, nikkiraby.com/podcast.